How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with another FPL video, and today we're going to be taking a look at how my team did in Game Week 29, as well as looking ahead to my lineup for Game Week 30 for our FPL team. If you haven't done so already, make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available, and drop us a follow over on Twitter so that you can see all the different posts that we do over there, whether it be a new video or when we go live, as well as follow us on Twitch so that you can also not only get the notification on Twitter, but you can also get the notification on Twitch when we go live for our preview and deadline streams, which we will be doing a deadline stream tomorrow at 5 a.m. EST, 1 hour before the FPL deadline. There'll be a pinned comment down below to give you the details on that, so make sure to check us out over there. So without further ado, let's see how my team lined up and played out in blank Game Week 29. So this is how my team lined up in Game Week 29. We ended up with 31 points, which was a red arrow of around 80k places. So we're now sitting around the 660k mark, which isn't too bad. We got a big green arrow the week before, which allowed us to go up 200k places. So I was thinking, if I can just salvage, not a crazy, massively, overly sized red arrow, then I'll be okay. And I think that I kind of made the best of both worlds. I got the captaincy right, which also helps out as well, at least for somebody who scored. And we only used one of our 2 free transfers, able to save 2 for after the international break if there were any sorts of flags. So obviously Areola, splitting hairs there between him and Martinez. Again, both of them getting 1 point. I was kind of, 50-50 when Areola conceded to Leeds. I was thinking, oh, here we go. Martinez is going to get a clean sheet versus Spurs, but that didn't happen, and ultimately didn't really matter which goalkeeper I picked. Cresswell and Target both played. They just ended up with 0 points, which was a bit unfortunate. Cresswell was looking on for a clean sheet, especially the way West Ham opened up versus Arsenal in the first 30 minutes, going 3 goals to the good, but then conceding 3 goals, and then Cresswell got booked as well, so getting 0 points there. Target also booked and 2 goals conceded, not ideal. Aina just getting the 1 point, obviously conceding 2 versus Leeds in their 2-1 defeat. Rafinha getting a goal for himself, not too bad there as well. Son is flagged, or was flagged at the moment, with a 50% chance to play for Game Week 30, as he did not participate at all for South Korea during the international break, and he didn't play versus Aston Villa, was not in the squad at all. So there's keep an eye on him. Lookman getting himself an assist, could have scored as well, so would have liked that, but again, not ideal. Watkins as well, just the 2 points, bit unfortunate there. I don't think he's had a big chance since Grealish has actually left due to injury, but hopefully when he comes back, Watkins will be in and among the goals. And again, Kane captain, 1 less point than Rafinha, but overall not too shabby. And then De Bruyne, Jamie Vardy, Shaw, Gundogan, Cancelo, all getting no points because they just didn't play. So we had 8 players, 31 points. Not terrible. If I would have maybe got 5 or 6 extra points, maybe would have been okay there. So maybe the 2 extra points from the captaincy for Rafinha would have been okay. Had Lookman scored his goal, we would have probably been sitting on probably around break even in terms of whether we would have gone up or down in rank. A gray arrow is what they would have called it. But obviously the main feature here is Son being flagged, where obviously beforehand we were wondering how long's this injury. It looked pretty serious. He had to be substituted off. And Mourinho was kind of like, oh, well, he might play, he might not play. And before, when Mourinho did that in the past, he got a massive hole after coming off after 45 minutes in Game Week 2. And in Game Week 3, comes in and scores a boatload of points. So again, kept him because I knew he had Newcastle. I knew he had a double game week to potentially make up at some point. That has now been scheduled for 32. He does have a blank in 33, but overall, Newcastle away, Leeds and Sheffield United after their Carabao Cup fixture in 33, and a double in 32. Definitely going to keep Son, especially with the fact that the news and the pictures from training showed that he was in full training, and Mourinho basically came out and said he's going to get picked tomorrow. He's playing for me. So, which is a good sign, because Newcastle away seems to be a great fixture for Son as well. Kane also a potential captaincy shout this week as well as Rafinha and many others in our current team. So let's take a look at my lineup and how we tentatively line up for a game week 30. So this is how I have my bus team set up for game week 30, obviously subject to change, as well as a captaincy, vice captaincy subject to change. Current squad value 103.4 million, so okay there. I have a little bit of money in the bank, 1.7 million, so we can make some changes there. 2 free transfers available. I wanted to have these 2 free transfers just in case there were any injuries or any doubts or anything like that. And luckily for me, no flags on my team at all, which is good. Nobody having to self-isolate. Nobody having any injuries in my team that I know of. Obviously, with having triple city, potentially some rotation there. Obviously, players playing multiple games over the international break, such as Ilkay Gundogan, who's back in our lineup again. He played all 3 games for Germany, but again, Pep Guardiola has talked about rhythm a lot in the past. So there was a time where Aguero was basically not playing international football. He was, rested for 2 weeks. Gabriel Jesus flew to South America, played, a lot of minutes over there, then flew back, and everyone was thinking, oh yeah, we'll bring in Aguero. He's definitely going to start, and then he played Gabriel Jesus. So this rhythm thing is kind of a bit tricky because Pep does rotate his players, which seemingly is still random. And the fact that I'm still trying to guess his lineups for my Pep Roulette videos is still a bit of a challenge, but eventually we might get the basically the hotline for Pep Guardiola, which would be nice and allow things to be a lot easier. Speaking on Aguero, obviously he announced that he's going to be leaving Man City, so I'm already penciling in the fact that I'm bringing in Aguero no matter what, 38, and I'm captaining him because he's guaranteed going to play. That's exactly what we're going for. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, who do they have on the last day? They have Everton at home. So a home fixture with the fans probably in the ground. Aguero's going to play. Pencil that one in for all of you as a nostalgia pick. And he's probably going to get every chance to try to score a hat-trick there, I guess. 2 free transfers, as we mentioned, so we can do some reshifting with the squad. And the chips available we have are the triple captain and the free hit. Now, I have Martinez over Areola just because he has the home fixture and is a better team defensively. Now, with Jack Grealish back, that may take a burden off of the defense, as Grealish will be able to win fouls higher up the pitch. They'll be able to get more set pieces. They'll have more of the ball, and I think that they'll have a bit more control. In defense, we currently have Cresswell, Target, and Shaw. Cresswell against Wolves, team that doesn't really score too many goals, and I expect West Ham to do be quite comfortable there. Target is currently in at the moment versus Fulham at home, and Shaw is versus Brighton. I think that United should be keeping a clean sheet versus Brighton, and Shaw has been in excellent form, obviously having an assist versus Harry Kane versus I believe it was Albania in the international break, and it's just looked fantastic for United this season. Cancelo is currently on the bench, as is Aina. Cancelo could be shifted on this week, possibly for a Chelsea defender, which would mean that Target is going to be the one that makes way, leaving us not with an Aston Villa double up, and we would have a Chelsea defender in there. That is most likely going to be Antonio Rudiger, someone who I expect to play the majority of Chelsea's games for the rest of the season. If you wanted to go with more security, I would say Azpilicueta if you have the funds available. But the way I'm kind of looking at my transfers, I might just go with Rudiger, a little bit more set piece threat. He's been brilliant for Germany as well, and I think that he's someone who Tuchel has a connection with just because of they're both German. In midfield, we have Rafinha, obviously not going anywhere. Should have had potentially more points as well. Sheffield United at home, a captaincy shout this week as well. Definitely can see him getting a lot of points this week. Son there as well, obviously back in training. Mourinho said he's going to be picked, so no reason to transfer him out. Great fixture, as well as a double game week in 32, and good fixtures after their Carabao Cup game as well. The Man City double up, I think Gundogan, De Bruyne, and I'm actually going to put Vardy in this, who's currently the vice captain. I just hope that it's going to be the similar game as to what it was in the last time they played each other, which was a 5-2 shootout, which Vardy ended up getting a hat-trick in that game with 2 penalties. So I think that City could definitely be open. Although I'm a bit reluctant to potentially sell De Bruyne because I want to bring in Bruno Fernandes, who would probably be my other free transfer this week, mainly due to the fact that Leicester at home haven't been great this season and have conceded a lot of double-digit goals to enemy opposition when they do play at the King Power Stadium. And we know De Bruyne is definitely capable of doing that. But it's just a matter of, is De Bruyne and Gundogan going to get rested for this game? I don't think so. I think Pep knows that they have to play a strong squad in this game. De Bruyne should be somewhat fresh. He didn't play in Belgium's last game. Gundogan is a bit of a concern, though, but I think that he's one of the very few players that can play kind of that box-to-box arriving late style of midfielder that Pep Guardiola likes in his team. I think the only other one that can potentially do that is maybe Bernardo Silva, but again, he doesn't do it as well as Gundogan. So if I had to get Fernandez in, I would have to get rid of De Bruyne, which I think he's more likely to start than Gundogan, although I think both of them are going to start and, should be quite nailed on in that regard, but we'll see on that one. So again, De Bruyne could make way for the likes of Bruno Fernandes, and Target will drop to the bench, having Cancelo make way for a Chelsea defender, most likely Antonio Rudiger. Those are the transfers that I'm basically looking at. As we said, Vardy with the vice captaincy, he's not going anywhere. He's been fantastic, especially in the last fixture that they played. Iheanacho obviously getting more of the bulk of the points with the goals. Once Vardy finds his shooting boots, and he is on penalties as well, potentially going to nick a penalty versus City. Maybe Kyle Walker do us a favor and bring him down in the box so that he can go score a penalty for us as well. Ollie Watkins up front as well. Hopefully with the fact that Jack Grealish is back, can actually start registering some big chances and putting the ball in the back of the net. And lastly, we have tentatively Harry Kane as our captain. I think there's quite a few shouts this week. Harry Kane, Rafinha, even De Bruyne versus Leicester, Bruno Fernandes if I were to bring him in versus Brighton. Jamie Vardy is also an outside shout as well. Chelsea defenders, I mean, West Brom away seems like the most nailed clean sheet you can think of. So maybe a 1 week punt on the likes of Alonso for those that have a transfer basically booked in for next week, where they have that free one available, or they also have a wild card in their back pocket ready for 31 and onwards. I think that Alonso definitely could be someone there as well. I'm personally not going to go there. If anything, it's going to be Rudiger or Azpilicueta. And I think that, they could be a captaincy shout as well. Even, if you think clean sheet, guaranteed 6 points, job done, we'll take those 12 there as well. But I think Kane is going to be the front runner for the captaincy this week for me. I think Kane, Fernandes, and Rafinha are probably the three that I would be looking at if I were to bring in Fernandes. De Bruyne would also be in there as well. I don't think Son, just because he's coming back from an injury. I think that, obviously a possible re-injury is obviously, possible, even though Mourinho says he's fine. But Kane just seems to be the man in form, and, scoring for England as well. I think the captaincy is pretty straightforward for him. But if I was going to go for something a little bit different, Fernandes versus Brighton or Rafinha versus Sheffield United. So yeah, make sure to leave a comment down below as to which transfers you think I should bring in as well. Again, 2 free available. Not opposed to taking a hit as well, although I'd rather not have to if I don't. And I'm kind of prepping to see if I can get away with not necessarily using the free hit in 33 and potentially free hitting later on when there's a supposed double game week in like 35 or 36, when they shift the fixtures back a little bit so that fans can come into the ground for at least one home fixture for each team. So let me know it down below. And then also, let me know if you think I should use the triple captaincy for Spurs in Game Week 32. I'm definitely considering it. 2 okay fixtures, I believe it's Southampton and Everton. Both defenses haven't been great all season. And I think Kane could potentially get that as well. So let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, that's our lineup temporarily for Game Week 30. And that's going to do it for our Game Week 30 lineup announcement. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, it greatly helps out the channel, and turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. And drop us a follow over on Twitter so you can see my final lineup when it does go out there. I usually post that as well as anything else that is, news related in terms of fixture rescheduling and that sort of stuff. as well as give us a follow over on Twitch so that you can see when we go live for our preview and deadline streams. There'll be a pinned comment down below which will let you know that we are doing a deadline stream 5 a.m. EST tomorrow at the time of recording, 1 hour before the Gameweek 30 FPL deadline. So make sure to come check us out there, bring your questions, and be interactive in the chat. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, take care.